Yeah. Too late to buy the dip, you missed the rise, bruh. You asleep while I bled, now you crying for advice, huh? Too late to ride the wave, you was clowning when I tried, bruh. Now I'm trading jets, you still begging for a lifeline. 25 to life in these stocks, no parole, no white line. I gave my whole soul to this, slept in red just to wake in green. While y'all laughed at my loss, I was building in the in-between. Woke up with my wrist sore, charting through the bloodstreams. Gave you free game, now you DM me for live streams. Nah, you ain't ride through the famine when the screen bled. You ain't grind through the panic, heart racing on a thread. You was faking trades, chasing pump tweets instead. I was risking full accounts, writing wheel type spreads. You don't know the pain of that Friday close. Margin calls like ghosts, breathing down my nose. Penny flippers on TikTok, talking get rich, bro. While I fought demons on the 1 minute flow. Too late to buy the dip, you missed the signs, bruh. I was crying in the charts, now I'm grinding with the lines, bruh. Too late to click join, this a shark pool now. We don't welcome no tourists in the war zone crowd. 25 to life, I bled in this trade route. They want the game, but they don't want the grit. Want the yacht, not the 6 months drawdown pit. I seen portfolios fold like origami in May. Meanwhile, I was scalping hell with no stop loss prey. I ain't your guru, don't ask for alerts. You want $1 million dreams with no spreadsheet work. You sell for 2 cents and flex like you a beast. I hold through a rug pull just to feast on the feast. Took a trade in the dark like a shaman on acid. Saw God in the red and came back feeling massive. All my enemies watched while I grew through the static. Now they tryna ride my gains? That shit's trash. You ain't believe when I lost 10 bands of silence. Now you cheer when I post green like you was riding. You was hating while I doubled down in defiance. Now I ghosted you, bruh. Call that price realignment. I divorced the doubt like it cheated with fear. Filed papers with the market, now I'm married to the clear. I was crying in the charts, now I'm legend in the peer list. You still stuck on Discord begging for a near miss. Too late to buy the dip, you missed the rise, bruh. You asleep while I bled, now you crying for advice, huh? Too late to ride the wave, you was clowning when I tried, bruh. Now I'm trading jets, you still begging for a lifeline. 25 to life in these stocks, no parole, no white line.
Oh brother, oh brother, oh brother. Good morning, good morning, good morning. We are ripping it here on a beautiful Friday, May the 9th. When I say it's beautiful, I'm being, I don't know, a little bit facetious because I looked outside and it's actually pretty grimy out. And it looks like it might be, looks like the heavens might be opening upon us very, very soon. But hey, spiritually, it's going to be a good day. Obviously, I'm hoping very much so that it is a tendy making day. And at an absolute minimum, it's going to be a tendy making day for some of you in here because we are officially doing a Payday Friday. So you guys have been here before. Pinned at the top of chat in the description of the video. You can sign up on locals right now. Throw your hat into the arena in real time. We're going to be picking someone from YouTube and from Rumble. So those will be 2 of our 5 competitors, but the other 3 competitors will be coming directly from locals. So that's, like I said, in the description of the video, pinned to the top of chat, all that good stuff. If you've been here before, you know exactly what to do. So depending on what the market is or isn't doing, probably we're going to be doing that around 10:30. I suppose if the market's a little nutty at that point, we all might be in a trade, so we might have to either do it a little early, a little late, most likely a little late if the market's going nuts. But I just want to throw that out there. It's not necessarily a hard stop, especially if I'm in a position, because I need the position to go well to be able to continue to pay out these Payday Fridays. So I think you guys could all understand. But yes, happy Friday, TGIF, happy Payday Friday giveaway. Shout out to Apex for being the partner. If you use that code Goonie right now in Apex, you will get 80% off on top of giving out the cold hard cash to the marble race winner. Excuse me. I guess I haven't had enough coffee yet this morning. We're also going to be giving out 3 free Apex accounts, whatever size, doesn't matter. So whoever's selected off of locals will be getting those accounts. You could use the coupon code and it will be applicable to literally any account size. So pretty cool stuff. That's going to happen in a little bit. Between now and then, I do got to get you guys prepped up. We had some interesting news over the past 2 days. And then early this morning, we're getting even more news related to the trade talks. Apparently, a lot's going down this weekend, which is going to make the over weekend swing kind of a tough play because if the talks go really, really well, we're going to get a massive gap up. If they go really, really poorly, we're going to get a massive gap down. So there's quite a bit of it's a high octane situation over the weekend. The U.S. and China expected to have some talks, and also we're probably going to hear a little bit more from either India, Japan, the EU. But what you need to know is the TLDR for over this weekend is that we're going to have some trade talks. So if you're on the right side of it, great. If you're on the wrong side of it, could be pretty disastrous. We're already seeing that in the underlying options data set that people are right now structuring to be a little bit more bullish today. But over the weekend, we are seeing that rise in implied volatility. So quite a bit to chit chat about. So we're going to get into that. There's some earnings. We could talk about that as well. And then I have some charts that I want to show you. And at that point, the bell's going to go dingity, ding, ding, ding. And then it's going to be the classic game we play here on the channel of, will Matt follow his trading rules for once and make money? Or am I just going to get completely tilted and then not make money and then get really mad and start revenge trading and then go on tilt and blow everything out? You never know. You never know. And in fact, I don't even know what we're going to be really getting into. So obviously, stay tuned. On that note, let's see what's going on. Stock futures rise slightly as traders try to build on the US-UK trade deal rally. In case you missed it yesterday, the big news was the US and the UK came to some sort of trade agreement. It was the first one out of this whole debacle that we've ever gotten since March of this year. Arguably, this was the easiest one to do because remember, going into the Rose Garden event, we found out that Trump's main focus was on trade imbalances, as in a lot of countries were buying their stuff, but they're not really buying our stuff. The reason why I'm saying the US-UK trade deal is the easiest is, first of all, they are a long-time ally, and I think that should be taken into account, just hundreds of years of being our ally. But on top of that, the imbalance already actually favored the UK, as in we were sending them a lot more than they were sending us. It's one of the few countries that we already had that type of trade going on with them. So the fact that the imbalance was opposite of Canada, Mexico, the EU in a general sense, especially China, the fact that it was opposite in the way that Trump seemingly was trying to get us closer to, that's why people, analysts, the fancy schmancy people with the pedigrees on the wall are saying, yeah, like this was the easy one. But granted, just because it's low hanging fruit, it doesn't mean it's not important, because as you guys are about to see here, in a certain sense, it gives other countries kind of an idea of how things could play out. It gives the world a better sense of what the U.S., in terms of the administration and really the trade negotiation team, of what they're specifically looking for and how it can be structured. And we also found out that basically at like the absolute best, through the vantage point of these other countries, everyone's going down to 10%. No one's going to be getting these sweetheart deals below 10%. We got some news this morning that Trump was talking a little bit about bringing China to 80%, but we're also getting this understanding that every other country, if they're sending stuff to us, minimum best deal is going to be 10%, while according to Trump, some are going to come in higher, and he even said some are going to come in much higher. Stock futures gain as Trump suggests that many trade deals are close. All right, obviously this is just kind of leaning into our expectation over the weekend. So a little bit more specifically on the US-UK trade deal. Trump unveils United Kingdom trade deal first since the reciprocal tariff pause. President Donald Trump unveiled a trade agreement with the UK. The deal with the UK is the first by the US with a country whose imports were subject to new tariffs imposed by Trump. Many specifics about the agreement were not immediately clear, and nothing has signed during the Oval Office event. So basically what you need to know is tariffs are a little bit higher, they're a little bit lower on us, and if anything, I would say with the UK, the major focus was more on like things like the meat industry and will they start taking it, and had a lot more to do with like the markets and Trump's perception of how their market is treating US businesses. So it sounds like those are the details that were being ironed out. Retired Supreme Court Justice, at 85. David bit the dust. We got a little bit of breaking news. Retired Supreme Court Justice. Wow. Died at 85. The other non-market related news is they picked a new pope. I don't know how many of you guys missed it, but they did pick a new pope coming out of the conclave, and it is the first U.S. Pope ever to be selected. So that's some pretty crazy news. Anyway, back to the market. Trump's deal with the UK sends a clear message. 10% tariffs are here to stay. Even Britain, with its special relationship with the U.S., didn't manage to persuade Trump to drop all the tariffs during trade talks. Most goods imported to the U.S. from the UK will still be subject to a 10% baseline tariff, which Trump says is the lowest country-specific tariff that will be applied to trading partners, as in the absolute minimum. No one's getting away with zero. Tariffs of 10% at the very minimum could be the best deal other countries in trading blocks will achieve, according to analysts. With that being said, there are certain subcategories of trade that are going to get away. So, for example, they talked a lot about Rolls-Royce engines, and then they were talking about how there's going to be an airline based out of really the UK that they're going to be buying these Boeing planes. So, like, there are special little caveats for sure. It's not like just generic baseline deals. So I think that's going to be very important, because it seems like every sub-trade deal or every trade deal per country or trading block is going to have a lot of its own individual customization based on what we trade with them. For example, even in the UK, there was all these specialty things related to steel and aluminum. Okay, so once again, hyper amount of customization per trade deal, which is probably going to mean that's going to take a while for some of these to play out, just because some of them are far larger, they're far more complex, and it's going to take a while. But it does sound as if we're going to get some sort of update like really out of this weekend. Now, do I think we're going to all of a sudden be like, deal done, deal done, deal done? No. I think it's going to be kind of the same show that we've had before, of like, okay, we're talking, we're making progress, we think it's soon, we think it's soon, we think it's soon, and then clearly when soon passes, and we're all like, yo, is it going to happen? Eventually, randomly, we get an announcement. So that would be my prediction, but obviously don't hold your breath on that. Trump's bespoke trade deal with the UK sets a little precedent for other nations. Many of the agreements weren't seen as likely to come together quickly. Once again, hyper amount of customization. And here's a little bit from the president himself.
The deal includes billions of dollars of increased market access for American exports.
I am outside the White House, where Donald Trump just announced a trade agreement with the United Kingdom. It's the first trade agreement that he's announced since he started implementing new tariffs and really upended U.S. trade policy.
They're opening up the country. Their country is a little closed, and we appreciate that.
The deal is not finalized yet, but the details that we're getting from the Trump administration and Downing Street in the UK is that this will lower tariffs for the United Kingdom on certain goods. So, for example, ethanol, steel, and things the United States wants or ships to the UK, the tariffs will be lowered. There was a 25% tariff on autos, but that will be lowered to 10% for the first 100,000 cars the UK exports to the United States.
We've agreed to let Rolls-Royce engines and those kind of plane parts to come over tariff-free. And what you're going to hear today is there's going to be an announcement in the UK that they are buying $10 billion worth of Boeing planes.
It appears to have been arranged very hastily. They talked about how Donald Trump made a final last-minute call last night to Keir Starmer.
In the end, it comes down to,
as you say, Donald, economic security is national security. On national security, we've been absolutely
the closest of allies.
The 10% baseline tariff that Donald Trump has implemented across the board for all countries is staying in place for most goods.
That's a low number. They made a good deal. Some will be much higher because they have massive trade surpluses.
This upcoming weekend, all eyes really are going to be on how these talks go with China and Switzerland. It's the first time that the major leaders of the U.S. and China have gotten together, and the idea is that these guys are going to talk about the trade war that has escalated and is resulting in more expensive consumer goods for Americans.
So there you have it. A little bit of a, I suppose, professional journalist take on the deal from yesterday, but then also a very shrewd call out for this weekend where we got to be paying attention mainly to China, but obviously we also might be getting some updates related to Switzerland. Trump floats a 80% tariff on China. Investors dig into the UK trade deal. So that's some of the news as of this morning. Trump's team seeks tariff cuts, rare earth relief in China talks. The Trump administration is considering considering a significant tariff reduction in talks with China to ease economic pain and de-escalate tensions. The U.S. aims to reduce tariffs below 60% as a first step, which China may be prepared to match, with progress possible as soon as next week. So right here, this was the big announcement of the morning. Trump says 80% tariffs on China seems right ahead of the weekend trade talks, and this was literally on his own True Social right here. Came out around 7:30 this morning, just before 7:30. 80% tariff on China seems right, up to Scott B, obviously the Treasury Secretary. And if you were paying attention in the market this morning, right around that announcement is when things went a little bit haywire. In fact, the market didn't like it because the assumption was we might be dropping to 60, kind of in a weird sense, viewing it as a larger olive branch. But no, he came out at 80, but then also saying, I like 80, but I'll leave it up to Scott Bessent. So that was a little bit of the craziness around, like I said, 7:25, right around 7:30 this morning. We were grinding up nicely, took a hit, ended up going to the closing value from yesterday, and now we're bouncing a little bit off of it. Through this whole ordeal, we are finally seeing Bitcoin really start to perform as the way it was pitched. Digital gold, a safe haven asset that is easier to get and deal with than physical gold. Bitcoin, hats off to it at 103,000. Remember, the all-time high is 109. So heading into this weekend where, yes, volatility is going to be higher, we're actually seeing old digital gold behave the way it's been pitched for years and years and years. Took an awkward amount of time to get here, but starting at the beginning of April, we saw the correlation between Bitcoin and the overall market start to break down, and if anything, it's continuing to behave like itself. Correlation between Bitcoin and the Nasdaq starting in April, down, 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 started to be a little bit more correlated with gold, but recently, and when I say recently, I mean over the past 2 weeks, we're actually seeing Bitcoin just behave like Bitcoin, not really mimicking physical gold or the risk on overall market. It's kind of creating its own trend. Now, obviously, we don't have the most data on this. This is not like we have years of it being viewed as a risk off asset. It's actually, in fact, a very minimal amount of time, but it's going to be interesting to see how this does or doesn't play out in the long term. Right here, stock futures gain as Trump suggests that many trade deals are close. So that's, I guess, the big title of the morning as we're going to get going. We're about 12 minutes out, which means it is the perfect time for me to give you guys a bit of a breakdown of what I see going on. So obviously, I have all the key levels that I personally care about on the day. Feel free to screenshot this. Feel free to write it down. But before I explain it, it might be a little bit easier to first take a look at what we have going on. Shout out to Spot Gamma. Right here, you guys, let me zoom out a little bit more. You can see we have quite a bit of negative gamma above and quite a bit of positive gamma below. Remember, positive and negative gamma are not bullish or bearish or anything like that. It means you either have higher velocity, like slippery price action, or more so of sticky, like not really going anywhere, more of like a mean reverting price action. So another way you can look at that is we are in between the two zones. So if we start to pump, it's going to be one of those things where we could easily like get pumping and pumping and pumping. Obviously, it looks like we have a bit of a node that might trip us up today around 5,750. So that is an important thing to note. But if the bulls get absolutely crazy, maybe if something gets leaked and we know that these talks this weekend are going to be really good and we somehow break that, well, then it becomes actually a relatively easy trip up to 5,800, and we see this massive negative gamma node at 5,850. Now, is it possible? Yes, there's a non-0% chance that happens. But is it likely? This node, it doesn't really look like it, but the node at 5,750 is a pretty large one. So for that to happen, we'd have to be like kind of testing it early in today's session, because if it's one of those things that if we're testing it this afternoon, there's just not going to be enough time in the day for us to start really ripping. So I want to throw that out there. Negative gamma above. Slippery price action. It is not bullish or bearish. It just means whichever way you're going, the market makers to hedge out their books are going to be supportive of that movement. Now, below it, you can kind of see we're right roughly in a neutral zone right now, which is also roughly the difference between the closing value of yesterday, as in it's the green to red move. And then below it, you have a little bit of a spread going on. Hang on, let me pop myself up to the top right so you can see this. So around 55, 70, 75, 60 in here. A little bit of a spread going on, but below it, it's all positive gamma. And since price is currently on top of it, that will be supportive because we're going to go from a neutral zone to specifically a sticky zone. So I think that right here, we kind of like not from a zero DT perspective. Of course, it could happen, but more from a swing perspective. Right now, we have very evident bounds between somewhere, we'll call it 5850, but it's really this 100-point region, 5800, 5900, and then the other bound all the way down here at 5550. So that's a large range. Once again, I'm more so specifically referring to like the swing mindset of like, okay, if we get going today, I think it's going to be high likelihood that the market, especially you could see on over here. So this is the full chain gamma, this big heat map. On the left side, this is also gamma, but I'm showing you the zero DTE gamma. And you could see that there's quite a bit of positive gamma here. I think that the market's very going to be like highly interested in touching this sizable gamma node at 5710. In fact, based on where we are right now, that is the most influential gamma node of the day. If we break above it, yeah, you might get like another 40-point run like through this negative gamma. But I just want to point out before the market opens, we have about 9 minutes. This is a key level to be paying attention to. So for any of my short-term bulls, as in zero DT traders, like you're looking to scalp trade, something like that, just be really hesitant, because as I actually have out here, the white box is the transition zone. Above it is bullish, below it is bearish on a zero DTE perspective. But you're going to see that we have a lot of psychological, open interest, and technical, like I guess a mix up here at 5,700. Then right above that, 5,710. And then 10 points above that, we have yesterday's high. So it's going to be one of those things where if we break a level, then there's going to be another resistance only 10 points above. So today, maybe not for the bull or the bear perspective, not necessarily the easiest day, because it's not like one of these things where, oh, if we break that, the next thing's already 35 point higher and there's not like going to be anything to stop us. No, we have a psychological level, we have a huge gamma level, we have a technical level, and then from that, we have another open interest level. So it could be tough, and that like it cuts both ways. Obviously, we have this transition zone between 5690 and 5650. Then below that, well, not much distance. We have yesterday's low, and then below that, we have another key open interest level to 5620, and then below that, another key open interest level that happens to also be a key psychological level of 5600. So whether you are bullish or bearish today, and once again, I think from a swing perspective, it's pretty evident that the bulls are currently in control. From a zero DTE perspective, I don't think you could have a bias coming in today without seeing the options flow at market open. I see a lot of a pain to the upside of just like tough walls to break, and then same thing to the bottom side. I'm seeing a lot of tough floors to break. And right now we're actually scheduled to open in the transition zone. And remember, the hallmark behavior of us being in the transition zone is just kind of choppy. So for me, I think from the swing perspective, as in if we're talking the next couple of days, maybe even like a week or two, I would say the bulls right now, looking at the overall option structure and just the recent daily setup and just the enthusiasm related to news, the bulls are in control. For today specifically, we're literally in the transition zone. We have a lot above, and then also on the other side, we're in the transition zone and we have a lot below. So it's just, I'm not really seeing quite like much dominance. The 5 minute, 10 minute, 30 minute, and 4 hour are all bullish. 5 minute, 10 minute, 30 minute, 4 hour are all bullish. So maybe from there, you want to give a slight edge to the bulls, just because as of right now, momentum is favoring the bulls, but we're not that far away. Like it easily could just go bearish. So yes, I would say if I had to, the bulls are on the short and the medium time frame in the driver's seat, but maybe not as confidently as we'd like to see it right now at market open. But of course, as soon as the market opens, we're going to get much more information from the options flow. But these are the key levels. Like I said, feel free to screenshot it. Feel free to write these down. Bullish above the transition zone, bearish below it. And upon a break to the upside or to the bottom side, I'm not necessarily swinging for some sort of massive gain. I just don't think it's one of those days where we're like, yo, like we're pushing 100 points. Of course it could happen, but we're just playing high probability pathways. Shout out to William VK and William VK once again for gifting 2 different subscriptions. That's very, very kind of you. That's very, very kind of you. Thank you so much. That's so nice. Hey, makes me realize that, hey, some people in this community, some people representing the nicer parts of humanity. Very kind. Anyway, So those are the levels. We're going to come back to it. As always, I'm going to be doing my best to wait this first 15, 20, 30 minutes. Ideally, I'm not going to be placing any trades until after 10 a.m. Just because we've been seeing way too many reversals in the first 15, 20, 30 minutes that I just don't want to get chopped up in one of those reversals. So if you choose to trade early, hey, I hope you crush it. And please, just as soon as it goes a decent amount in your favor, by however you want to personally define that, move your stop to break even and start playing with lotto tickets. I think that's the best way to engage in this somewhat like elevated high vol environment. Obviously, when the market gets going, we're going to be checking the options flow. This is a look from yesterday. This was so weird. Look at this like pump and drop. That was super, super weird yesterday, what we were seeing in the Mag 7. Huge pop and then nope. And this started all pretty much 15 minutes into power hour. Really strange look at the flow there. And then the SPY pretty much blew its load way too early in the day, and at 1 p.m. we spiked, and then ever since then we just had weakness. The calls did not come in, and when calls didn't keep coming in, the 0DT players decided to keep taking their money, and they just never really could catch their footing. So what we had was really just like this wasn't bearishness. This was honestly just a lack of bullishness. Like we didn't see fresh bets coming in above 57.40, 57.50. There was just a very clear shelf on the day. And then right around getting out of lunch, people are like, oh, I guess we're not going. So they just like moved on with their life. So obviously we're going to be checking all of that out. I do want to remind you, it is a Payday Friday. It's pinned. Oh wait, actually it's not. I was about to lie to you guys. All right. It is the first link in the description of the video. I just updated Rumble. I am about to update YouTube as well. The first link in the description of the video will bring you exactly to this page that I have on the screen right now. Or if you're a member of Locals, you can obviously find it because it's just the top pin message. But okay, it's in the description of the video of Rumble and YouTube. It's there. Feel free to check it out. And all you have to do to throw your hat into the arena for either $150 of cold hard cash or a free Apex account is just drop your information in here. I just need a way to be able to reach out to you if you happen to be a winner. So whether it's your email, your Discord, whatever, 62 people have already figured it out. I have a feeling that you guys are bright enough and ready enough to take on the day that you'll also be able to figure it out. But if you are a member of Locals, which once again, you could sign up for free if you use that code Goonie, it is the top pinned message. Payday Friday giveaway, May 9th. And all you have to do is, like I said, just drop your info so I know how to reach out to you. So this is where we're going to be picking 3 of our 5 competitors. The other one is going to come from Rumble, and the other one is going to be coming from YouTube. So 3 from here, 1 from Rumble, 1 from YouTube, and we're going to get rocking. And ideally that's going to be going down around like 10:30ish. But the market is scheduled to open up in about 1 minute, a little bit more than 1 minute. I think there's going to be some interesting action going down today, especially in the latter half of the day, where traders and investors and I guess D-gens like ourselves are going to be making bets on how they think the weekend talks are going to go. That's going to be the big thing is we're in that awkward situation where we're trading all day today. You have to put in your bets, and then the casino closes down for the weekend where there's going to be hugely impactful talks and discussions and updates and leaks and fake leaks and everything in between. And then we come back Monday morning to the market open and we're either gapping up or gapping down. So if you're feeling good and lucky about it, hey, Tell if you're feeling absurdly lucky today, please share it with the rest of the community because we're all looking for the most lucky of degenerate gamblers in here. Please do not hesitate to share. And on that note, let me switch it up to the 1 minute. 1 minute. We'll do this. We'll throw up Tesla for now because it was moving nicely in pre-market, and Palantir has just been a force to be reckoned with. Rumble had earnings actually pretty decent. We could look at that at some point today. I'm talking about like Rumble's actual stock. They had earnings. I don't know how many of you guys did or didn't listen to it. But one thing that I'm like particularly a fan of is they are in what I would define as like pretty shrewdly getting themselves more intertwined with the world of crypto. So one of the biggest announcements that I suppose from retail trading you guys must be most excited about is it looks like I believe in Q3 they're going to be rolling out their own Rumble crypto wallet, which I think is going to be really, really cool. So that was like one of the big things that we got from Rumble's earnings yesterday. I believe Coinbase also had earnings. How are they looking right now? Coinbase is down 2%. Rumble's up 2%. Actually, it's right around $8 right now. Check that out, around 8 buckaroos. So as crypto's going up, and we also know that they have, what was it? I'm going to forget the exact number, but Chris was talking about it. Let's see. He said how many Bitcoin the company has. He said, I want to say it was like 208. Oh, yeah, they signed a deal with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Where was it? I thought they said exactly how many Bitcoin they have. Revenue up 34% year over year to 23.7 mil. Oh, right here. Rumble now holds 211 Bitcoin. Not a bad investment when we're having Bitcoin rip to the high heavens. Just going. Like I said, not that far from an all-time high, currently trading at 103. All-time high is 109. We hit that in January of this year and got also pretty close there in mid-December. Since then, we kind of snapped it, and now we're swinging back around. Exciting stuff. Not a bad time for, what was it, 210 and some change. So that alone just giving the company more value. I'm getting a breakout alert on Tesla right now. Okay, Tesla taking out the recent highs from Monday, April 28th, and also Friday, May the 2nd. The next natural stop would, from a technical perspective, would be this high that we saw. When did we see this high? Early March, and that is 304. So currently trading at 294, $10 ahead. Above is the next technical level, but obviously we'd have to use something like spot gamma to know the next like options level. But anyway, Tesla knocking on that door of a breakout, and I personally wouldn't mind because I have a lot of short-term calls on Tesla. A lot of short-term calls. Actually, how's that one doing now? Old Tesla. I do want to clarify that this was called out in real time yesterday to everyone in the Discord. Currently up 54%, 55%. That's a nice $9,000 gain. Literally purchased it right here yesterday, May 8th. Ask anyone in the Discord. As soon as I got that position, I screenshot it, sent it in, did it even when I was, sleep deprived, getting up at 4 a.m. to catch the flight back and run the show with all of you guys. But this is another advantage, not only for doing the Payday Friday giveaway, but obviously if you're a supporter in Locals, that's how you can get into the trading Discord. Locals not only runs the giveaway, but they also do the payment processing and management for people to get into the Discord. And like I said, ask anyone in the Discord. This was posted in real time, paying for many years. This one trade alone, if you agreed with it, if you liked it, would have paid for about 15 years of you being in the Discord. This one trade alone. And actually it's pushing 10K. Not a bad day. Not a bad day to be me. All right, what do we have going on? Rum's actually going pretty nicely. The market agreeing that they like the earnings. What else do we have going? Anything? So Tesla's the big gainer on the day. MicroStrategy is also looking good, up 1.7%. Meta's up 1%. It's at that $600 key technical and psychological level. Microsoft is green, but trending down. NVIDIA's not doing a whole heck of a lot. Apple, a little bit of a recovery, and I'm a bit surprised because if you look at the daily chart, Apple's not been really on a good one. So maybe this is an official high or low. Maybe there's a play here to play back up to 210, which is the 50 EMA, currently trading at 200. Minimal risk, a $7 risk, and you have maybe more than $10 of reward. So obviously more reward than risk. That's a good start. Coin not really doing much on the daily chart. It is down 2%. Obviously the market not the biggest fan of its earnings. Rum's now up. Whoa, Rum just started popping out of nowhere. Whoa. Where did it go? Look at that. Rum up 11%. So looks like the top dogs of the day are here. Let me restack these guys. Looks like the players of the day are Rum, Tesla, and MicroStrategy. Rum, Tesla, MicroStrategy. Honorable mention to Meta. Honorable mention to Apple, but the big boys of the day, percentage-wise, Rumble, Tesla, MicroStrategy. Not a bad day to have a position in those guys. Not a bad day. All right, I am going to be doing my best to not trade way too early, trying to be a little bit more disciplined. Obviously, we are watching these key levels, and look at that. We ran right up to my first key level, which is also, ironically, the breakout where the bulls buy option structure definition would be in control. So we ran right up there, and unfortunately, even if we get and hold up there, then there's a chance of rejection at 5,700. If we hold that huge options level at 5,710, and when I say big, I am not joking around. Let me zoom in. You can see it's the largest gamma node on the 0DTE of the day. So unfortunately, this is not the easiest trade because yeah, you could break out, then there's those 10 points, then there's those 10 points. So probably very playable. I would not be surprised if we get somewhere in here today. I think that is a high probability pathway. It's just more of how can you execute that trade, and in doing so also like represent minimal risk to the portfolio, your own obviously sanity as well. So I'm going to be watching that one pretty closely. We're knocking on this door of the breakout. Like I said, this is by definition where the bulls gain control on a 0 DTE, like as on an intraday basis. The issue is if it gets up here, how hard's the smack at 5,700? And when I say the smack, we know that we're going to have these option players who are going to be like starting to lock in their gains, maybe not wanting to take the weekend risk or something like that. So as long as the calls don't drop, then we have a shot up to here. And unfortunately, I think that there's going to be a decent amount of profit taking at 5,710 just because there's so many players in this right now. 5,710, that is, here, I can show you this. 5,710, it is these sold calls. No, hang on. Let's go. Sorry, I messed that up. Yeah, 5,710. It is sold calls putting in a natural ceiling right there. So that's something that they're going to be looking to defend. Now, will they be able to defend it well? I don't know. I'll tell you better at 4 p.m. when the market closes. All I can tell you is these are very evidently the levels of interest. We're trying to break out, be on the bullish side of things. If we successfully do that, watch 5,700. Do not be surprised if there's profit taking there. And then if for some reason there is still more bullish aggression than bearish aggression, be looking for 5,710. And then at that point, don't be surprised if we get smacked because it is a major gamma level. And then from there, yeah, there might be a little bit of an issue at 5720, but that's a technical level, which I personally give less weight to than option interest, open interest levels. So really the next level, if we get above 10, I'd be looking for a trip up to 35. Obviously, those are all the numbers, metrics, stats, facts, and figures based on today's open. Obviously, this is a very dynamic situation. So things can easily change throughout the day, which is why we are going to do what we do best and keep monitoring the flow of the day, which speaking of that, let me do this. Thus far, the flow of the day does look bullish. The Mag 7 starting at 9:31, 1 minute into the day, the bets on Apple, Amazon, Google, Meta, Microsoft, Nvidia, and Tesla in aggregate are very bullish. And then looking at the S&P 500, what do we have going on here? Same thing. It took a little bit longer. It took 3 minutes. There was bearishness up until 9:33, and then since then, the options flow started to really get positive, and obviously, that's exactly when price started to pick up. Question is, can we break and hold this level? Time will tell. Time will tell, folks. All right. Well, while we're waiting for this all to play out, obviously, don't forget, we are doing a Payday Friday giveaway. Shout out to Locals, pinned to the top of chat in the description of the video. Not only are we doing $150 of cold hard cash, but also Apex. We're giving away 3 of their accounts. And right now, if you use that code GOONIE, GOONIE, you can get 80% off. And just to show you guys, here are my Apex accounts right now. I have not traded today, did not degenerately front run or do anything like that. So I'm just sitting here. Actually, that reminds me, I need to open up my copier. I did not do this yet today. So we have that ready to go for when ideally we see that perfect trade. Patience, 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 patience. We only need one good trade to make a shitload of money today, and that's it. We don't, like a sniper, we have to do one perfect shot, and then we get to call it a weekend and relax from the absolute hectic week we most likely all had. So, all right, did I set that up properly? I hope so. 561. Let me edit. What was that? 204. Okay. Cool. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to rip it. Uh-oh. Someone already got banned. Chris LaFer, are you... Well, I can't even talk to you anymore because you got banned because you pissed off the producer. That's what happens. Don't piss off the producer. There's quite a bit of control, quite a bit of power. He's in the same power level as Lord of the Rings, like the whole one ring to rule them all type of a situation. He's not messing around. He is not messing around. And unfortunately, because you were spamming, you're now not even going to be able to participate in today's giveaway. So that's a bummer. Tesla going to hit 300 today? I hope so. Wow, look at that. Surprise, surprise. Where did we get smacked today? At a very important level. Very important level. Could not break out of this transition zone, at least not quite yet. But remember, we're only 10 minutes into the day, and this is a very good example of why you should not at any point be chasing at the extreme, going long at the top of the day, short at the bottom of the day, especially when that long also is in alignment with a key level. So how do you know not to buy this? Well, because you're not only buying at the extreme of the day, you're buying at potential resistance, which is how you could get into that situation of top ticking. Like inherently, every single time you are going long at the high of the day or short at the low of the day, you are putting yourself in top or bottom ticking in the bad side. It's all awesome when you can do it in the way where you're like, yo, I like actually top tick that short. Well, that's great. But just be mindful of that. Please be mindful. Oh, shout out. Mike Kimmel, gifting 5 subs there. Thank you. That is very kind. Shout out to Mike. Matt, can you do a rum short analysis? What do you mean? Like just like the open interest or the short interest on it? Yeah, I could tell you the numbers. The best way to find out, is this my information? The best way to find out the actual short interest is through a company called Ortex. There is nowhere that is close to them in the accuracy of their data. If you look at rum, the short interest is 13.8%. But I should also let you guys know that this idea of like short squeeze plays right now of like, oh, like one company, it kind of died with GameStop. It kind of died with AMC. I would not like, there was one point in a couple of years ago in time where, yeah, you could just buy highly shorted stocks and it would work out because we were all stuck inside looking for something to do. People were getting stimulus checks, but that time has come and gone. This idea of going long or short on a company because of the short interest, it's just past us. Like the whole market regime is it's in a new world right now. So I'm invested in rum and I like it for other reasons beyond the fact that it has a 13.8% short interest right now. But I don't know what else. I don't know if that was your major question. You just said analysis. So I assume you're just asking for that number. If you're asking for something else, obviously let me know. But yeah, 13.8, this idea of, yeah, it was a crazy time. That was definitely a crazy time in our history where you could just buy anything highly shorted and there was enough of like insanity on the retail side to drive it up, but that just doesn't exist anymore. What does the short interest number tell us? It's a ratio. It's a percentage. It's the amount of shares that are sold short divided by the free float, which is the amount of shares that could be publicly traded. So let's say a company has, I don't know, for the sake of math, 10 shares that could be publicly traded. And let's say 2 of them are sold short. Well, 2 divided by 10, it would have a 20% short interest. Short volume, people love to cite short volume. It's actually absurdly useless. If you find anyone trying to convince you of a viable short play and they're like, yeah, look at the short volume, they simply don't know what they're talking about. Short volume in the world of trading, in the world of statistics, is referred to as dirty data because theoretically, short volume, it might not be someone actually going short because a lot of the liquidity from the market right now is from high frequency trading. So they might literally just be providing, like, say someone wants to buy a stock and they're the liquidity providers. Well, they sell short to them, but then also remember someone simultaneously had to buy. Remember, for every buyer, there is a seller. For every seller, there is a buyer. But this idea of like short interest is very useful and it gives you an idea of what's going on. Short volume, you can actually like glean no useful information from it whatsoever. Short volume can be up or down or perfectly the same, and you cannot tell if that is bullish or bearish or anything. If what you could tell, the only correlation, and this isn't useful at all, is when volume spikes, when something is traded more, short volume also spikes. But that has to just do with the liquidity providing dynamics of market makers and high frequency traders. So that's the main correlation, is if volume goes up, generally you also see short volume going up because people are trading more. So inherently, you're going to have market makers having to take the short side as people are buying and buying and buying. So that is the only useful thing, which inherently is not that useful. We can all see when volume's going up, but to be able to discern, be like, oh, like this is bullish or bearish. No, you're not going to get that information. You are not going to get that information. Rum should close a deal with the Dallas Cowboys next. Before you know it, they just have all 32 teams on Rumble Cloud. That'd be pretty sick. The premium for Rum options is not good. I have June 20th $5 option trading below 4. Well, good or bad has nothing to do with the nominal value at all. That would be a silly way to look at the options market. It has to do with percentage gain and percentage loss, not to do with the underlying value. For example, just because Netflix is a high nominal value, that doesn't mean that it's somehow a better or worse trade, because what you care about is the percentage gain. You make or lose your money based on the percentage change to your underlying, not based on the nominal value. So looking at that, that just doesn't make sense, really. Matt, do you have a cold? My nose is just, I don't know if it was from the flight yesterday or right now I'm hearing that there's like a lot of allergies. Like this is allegedly one of the worst pollen seasons of all time or something like that. But I think just a combination of being run down, literally not sleeping this past week, flying, stressed out from trading, and then just pollen spiking. My nose is just stuffed. I sound a lot worse than I actually feel. I feel somewhat fine because last night was the first night I was able to actually get some sleep for a while. But I was reading, especially on the East Coast, that there's just a ton of allergies right now. A ton of allergies. So I suppose I'm just battling with that, but I appreciate it. Appreciate the thoughts. Yeah, it's been a rough allergies for everyone here. Yeah, I have just like whatever the normal, what is it, like hay fever or pollen, like just bullshit. And from what I'm reading and hearing, people on the East Coast like that are like me that have pollen-based allergies are just getting destroyed. Matt, your market recap videos have saved me thousands. Thanks. Oh, man, that's so kind. You can't really get allergy attacks if you go outside. That's a fair point. And that's why maybe it was not a good move for me to step outside my 4 just walls here and get on a flight and go to Florida. When Tesla become a meme stonk? It's not. It's hard to be a meme stonk when you have a legit business. It's meme because like that's the funny thing. So like why AMC was a meme stock was because the underlying business was absolute trash. So it was by definition comedic that it was ripping against the people who were shorting it for good fundamental reason. That's why that was the joke. That was the definition of the meme. While Tesla is like literally the leading automaker right now, and it's like it is the EV revolution. Without Tesla, we would have never had it. Have you considered attacking the allergies? I'm looking into it this weekend. It's about time that I start fighting back. It is about time that I start fighting back. Here's a look at the options flow. It was bearish, then bullish. We peaked at 937, and since then we started to sell, and the selling actually accelerated at 943. We really saw a flush here, and that flush was simultaneously calls being sold and puts being purchased. So we removed positive delta and added negative delta, really dropping the overall delta. And right here, we are much closer to the intraday low than we are the high, but especially on days like today, a Friday, an expiration day, where we have a lot of equities, not just the overall index expiring, you can see that delta change pretty rapidly. On the flip side, even though we're seeing a hit, the Mag 7 is strong, which is telling me that this sell-off right now is a bit more of a fake out than anything else. The fact that the Mag 7 is this absurdly strong, even into the face of this pullback from 938 to 945, this is telling me that this is not the real trend of the day, and it's going to be short-lived. So if anything, what do we have here? 5 minute, even the 10-minute might bounce and keep. I'm personally on a 0 DTE basis. I'm still looking for a bullish opportunity. This sell-off right here is not freaking me out just because of looking from this. Look at the Mag 7 for today's expiration, literally hitting a new delta high, and the SPY getting hit a bit there, but we actually might be basing at this point. We are in this like no man's chop zone. So if we could put in a higher low off of the low of the day and start to make fresh highs, might be a worthwhile opportunity to play, especially if we keep trending in this way. But obviously, I'm not your mom. Do what you want. It's your money. I'm not chasing this to the downside. The Mag 7 flow is too strong. The 5 minutes testing, 10 minutes bullish, 30 minutes bullish, 5 minute, 10 minute, 30 minute. So the momentum plays are neutral to bullish on both the S&P 500 and on the NASDAQ. The options flow on the Mag 7 is absurdly strong. The SPY is the culprit. So if I can see this improve, then pretty much everything is in alignment for a bullish play. But it's much closer if we looked at them separately, as in price structure, price momentum, and options flow. We're much closer to being fully bullish than we are bearish. And for me personally, I like when they all align in one direction or the other and then take that particular trade. So I'm going to just be doing my best to sit here patiently and wait for them to all align one way or the other. If it's bullish or bearish, to be honest, I really don't care. I just want to see that across the board alignment, and then I could take my trade. I just need to actually be patient and wait to see if the bot fires. Oh, but if the bot does fire, the bot, if we do random, well, dude, Tesla's going. Tesla took out 300. If the bot fires, oh, that's going to be a painful read. I don't know. That's like pretty close to the intraday high, and I'm not the biggest fan of going long at the intraday high. Well, right now, Tesla is trying to put the entire market on its back. Rumble's looking fantastic as well. Rumble's up 15%. Tesla's up 5.4. MicroStrategy's up 3.2. And then everything else. Oh, wow. Coin actually went green. Coin was down multiple percent, and now it's up 1.3%. So Coin with the recovery right there. Look at that. Decent recovery going from 202 up to 209, refusing to stay in the red zone. But the biggest gainer on my watch list is definitely RUM here at 15.6%. Would love for Tesla to be able to hold 300. Remember, from just a daily technical vantage point, Tesla's next level is 304, technically 303.94. It is the high from Monday, March the 3rd. And then from there, we might be talking about a trip up to 325. But this one might have some legs on it. Obviously, we got a nice pump from its earnings. Then we had about 2 weeks of nothing, a week and a half of nothing. Maybe we're going from expansion to consolidation to another phase of expansion. And if we are, hopefully it is a bullish direction of expansion and not one of these large expansions to the downside. So expansion, consolidation might be knocking on that door. A classic, what would it be, like Turtle Soup, for any of you who have read that book? Might be a nice little follow through there. What other daily charts do we have going on? MicroStrategy just absurdly strong, tough to chase it right now. Meta trying to hold above its cloud. Palantir also very strong. Broadcom, nice climb to the upside. Microsoft holding its gap up after the earnings. Nvidia slowly but surely climbing up. I actually wouldn't mind a pullback in Nvidia that I could go long into and then hope for a continuation. Amazon knocking on the door of its EMA breakout as well, struggling just below 200, but you can see we're right on top of the cloud. Coinbase actually looks like it's a couple days removed from Tesla, where you had expansion, consolidation, and maybe, just maybe, trying to get some follow through. ASML holding its longer down sloping trend line breakout. Netflix, monster. DJT, also potentially getting a breakout, potentially bouncing off its EMA cloud right here. If this ever loads, load. Come on. You could do it, TradingView. You could load faster. You could do it, Tonto. I guess not yet. Qualcomm, Google, XRP, Solana catching a bid. Texas Roadhouse. Look at that. Texas Roadhouse is up 5%. Well, fucking yeehaw, brother. Dude, I'm telling you guys, every stock in the entire equities market is just playing second fiddle to Texas Roadhouse. Every stock wishes it could be Texas Roadhouse. Look at that gain, 150 to 181, like it's nothing. It's almost too easy for Texas Roadhouse. Almost too easy. All right, how are we looking? All right, potential little VWAP bounce. Where would my bot go long? Oh, what time is it? Oh, it's 9:55. Oh, but what happens if the signal fires right before my 10 a.m. rule? What do I do? What do I do? What do I do? Feels like it's a little... That might be that dip that we're finally bouncing and getting going. So obviously, the earlier you execute it, the closer you are to your risk point, as in taking on less risk. Oh, do I front run? It's not by that much. It's by like 3 minutes. Do we have any reports today at 10 a.m. profit? Do we have any consumer sentiment or anything like that? I'm not seeing anything there. Do we have any 10 a.m. announcements that might screw me over? We have a speech. We have a speech. We have a speech. We have a speech. It would just be easier if the signal doesn't fire. Like, just let me wait till like 10:05 or something so I don't have to break my rule. So I don't have to break my rule. Here's a look at the Mag 7, still long and strong. The SPY puked all the way to about 953, trying to recover. We got a pop, but the question is going to be the next pullback. How deep is the low? Is it a higher low, or is this just like kind of a fake out pop and we're still going to be continuing? That is not looking the most optimistic. This is looking way more optimistic. 5-minute, 10-minute are testing on the S&P 500, 30 still bullish. 5-minute, 10-minute are testing on the NASDAQ, 30-minute is still bullish. So it's just, are we going to get this bounce right here, or are we actually going to be puking through? Or are we going to be puking through? Okay. What do we have going on? Tesla's looking great. RUM's looking great. Tesla is now at 301. How much is that position up? That position has to just be dominant right now. Absolutely dominant. Where was it? I got your boy picked up some Tesla calls yesterday. Not a bad one-day return. Before, when I showed it to you, it was 9,000. We're now up to 17,000. A nice 105% return, and we are riding, brother. Literally bought yesterday, made $17,000 in a one-day swing. Called out in real time to everyone in the Discord. Ask anyone in the Discord, be like, "Yep, he was in it. We saw it." In fact, when I posted it, it might have been baby red, and now it's a 106% return. That is wild. Wild. Oh. I'm nervous. Oh, the bot's about to fire. The bot is about to fire, and it's not technically 10 a.m. What do I do? Do I take the bot signal? Technically, it's not valid if it's before 10, but it's literally 9:58:30. Oh, I'm torn on this one, team. I'm torn on this one. Do I take it? I'm torn. It's 10 a.m. somewhere. That's a valid point. It is 10 a.m. somewhere. I just... I gotta wait. Gotta be disciplined. If I had more buffer in these accounts, maybe I'd let it swing a little bit more, see how it plays out. But I am not at the point with these accounts having enough buffer. So I think the appropriate thing to do is just to wait. 9:59 identifies as 10. Well, what I'm worried is, like, in recent history, we're seeing kind of crazy moves at the turn of the hour at 10, 10:01, 10:02, 10:03, where a lot of trades are just like hitting the market. And obviously that could benefit you if you're on the right side of the new movement. And then other times it just could completely demolish you. So I'm just waiting. I'm just waiting. Patience will pay. Patience will pay. That's how you make the money. That's how you make the money, by being patient. But at least I did wait till 10, so technically I'm in the window where I could take this signal if I so choose. I could take this signal if I so choose. Have your bot talk to the other bots for trading details. I wish I could do something like that, but it's above my pay grade. It's above my pay grade. All right, how's the flow looking? Mag 7 kind of chilling after a nice pop. S&P 500 going flat after a sell-off into a bounce. How are we looking here? Maybe, like, we had these lower highs, lower lows. We did make a fresh high. We did make a fresh low. It's just more of, are we going to come up to 90 and get smacked? We're at 87 right now. Huh. Haven't done anything yet. This is a tough read on the situation. That is a higher low. All right, I'm in.
Order submitted.
Order submitted. Did I do it right? Yeah, that seems to be about 20 of them. We're ripping it. We're ripping it on a beautiful Payday Friday. We're seeing how lucky we could possibly get. We're letting it rip. Letting it rip. My biggest concern is I just don't want a hardcore rejection as we had at 938. We came right up to this key open interest level and got smacked and smacked pretty good, like 15 points good. Now we're coming back up, and if we can get this breakout and go to 5,700, that's fine for me, even if we get smacked at that, because my profit will be... it'll probably be like achieved before we even get up to 5,700. So the bet for me is right here that I'm just like praying that we don't get rejected specifically at 5,690. Because if we get rejected up here, based on where my profit target is, I should already be good by that point. So I'm not worried too much. Not worried too much on the 5,700. Tesla is going. Oh, Tesla got the breakout. Old Tesla here got that technical breakout. The next level of interest is a little bit closer. We'll call it here. That's 527. What is this? This is 525. We'll go 525. Exactly. And you know what we'll do? We're going to get rid of that. We're going to get rid of this. We're going to set this up. We're going to remove this. Tesla might have a nice push here. This might be a $20 move unencumbered. All right, so I'm going to set that alert up at 525 flat. And while we're here, we might as well check out Tesla and look at its key levels. Where is it? Tesla, right here. Okay, where are we at? The total gamma line. Whoa. Okay, so it actually has a lot of action all the way up at 330. So that's where we got a lot of negative gamma. So if it can successfully break this is the last positive gamma keeping it up. So if Tesla can push and actually get above 305 right here, this node, pretty easy trip up to 330. So once again, think of it as like a giant if-then statement. If Tesla can get above and successfully hold on 305, we'll basically just be able to ride this negative gamma slope to the inflection point all the way up at 330. So once again, if we break and hold 305, then I'm personally looking for 330, the next major level. We do have 300 in itself, might be a bit of a battle. Time will tell. We're at that 305 point right now. As long as people just aren't monetizing their calls, and as long as we don't have puts coming in as a ceiling, It might be like truly I'm showing you the data right now. Easy trip up to this high vol. Like that's the most negative gamma. That'll be a very popular node that people are playing. Yeah, 330. 330, 330, 330. So I should actually move this up. Well, here, shoot. I'll leave it at 25 just so for my own sanity, I know we're getting close. But the major options level is actually 330. Not a bad day. Dude, up 22K. Up 134%, 130%. This was literally just traded yesterday. I have not been swinging this. I haven't even been in it for a full trading session yet. I just got into it yesterday. Up 21K. That's insane. That's, whoa. See, these are the dips that I like to wait for. Like, remember before when I said 1003, 1004, 1005? Even then, I think you could, maybe I'll get lucky as long as it doesn't dip so far that this screws me over. But these are the dips. Maybe the rule should be an awkward 10.05 and not 10. I thought I was being a bit patient. Once again, you still could get lucky if it pops, but just anecdotally, I don't have the exact evidence on this. It does feel like a little bit past the 10 a.m. hour. There's some craziness. Take the profit map. Why would I do that? Well, you did put it in over 16K. That's why I keep calling out the percent gain. Whatever money you put in, you could have more than doubled it. I play with an account where I'm willing to put in 16K. There's people in here who would put in 10x that. There's people in here who would put in 1/10 of that. The point is that I've doubled my money. That's why I'm looking at the percentage, because we all play with different account sizes. Duh. Thank you, Chad, for the hyper intelligent call out you've made for the rest of us. Matt, you're an awkward 1005. Happens to the best of us. Take the profit or double down. No, I'm going to play the levels as you always should. I find that retail traders, what they do is as soon as they go a little red outside of the price flow, momentum, or options levels, they hold on to it too long. Same thing when they're a little bit in the green. You're in this. It is hard enough to have a winning trade. Why in the world would you get out when you actually have a winning trade? It makes no sense. Retail traders are far, far too happy. The second they see a little bit of green, they're like, gotta get out. No, you need those good green plays to pay off the 50% of times that you're most likely losing. It's completely inverse. Retail traders have a high proclivity to ride their losers for far too long and get out of their winners far too early. Far too early. Mara earnings came out as bad, but it's up 10%. Obviously, it wasn't that bad then. You might just have to take a couple seconds into understanding the other aspects of it. Clearly, the market in a totality agreed something was good in it. So you can't define it as bad if it's up 10%. Hey, Matt, what are your thoughts on Canadian stocks? Would you ever invest in the Canadian stock market? No. I am privileged enough to already have my own country's the best stock market in the world. Why would I have to go waste time in the Canadian stock market? Like, what would be... Like, literally, I live in the U.S. I have the best market readily available for me. Why would I jump through the hoops to trade another nation's stocks when, like, it would literally be, like, intentionally leaving the best market in the world to go to a shittier market? Why would I ever do that? There would be no point for me. If there were like a particular company in Canada that I love the company and I wanted exposure to it, I would just find a fund or something in the US that has exposure and I would just get it. All right, I'm still in my play. I'm slightly green. Unfortunately, I probably should have got it here at 44. I should have had the patience to wait for that. I did get lucky that it didn't dip that much after it and it kept pumping. And ideally, I'll get more lucky and it goes all the way up here. But I haven't moved my stop yet, just because I'd prefer to move it when we take out the intraday high, which is what? That was way too early. So we have two different levels to watch. We have this level and we have that level. All right, so I'm watching 80 and 90. If we push this 90 level here that we hit at 7:26 a.m. this morning, if we push that level, I'll move my stop to break even, and then it's a like a lotto play. If it hits my profit, it hits my profit. If for some reason it gets rejected and knocks me out, whatever, it didn't cost me anything anyway. So those are the two levels. I'm watching 80 and 90. Of course, you have to be aware of the psychological level at 300, and then my profit target's at 312.50. So pretty much just break even here for me. Not necessarily getting the follow through that I would love to be seeing, but I could have been better with my entry. Dude, rum is still going. It's up 22%. What? News on rum. Rum had its earnings last night and it was good. Their revenue grew, new partnerships, getting more into crypto. Literally as Bitcoin goes up, rum becomes more available because they own almost 211 Bitcoin, which is just millions of dollars. Millions and millions of dollars. Wow, a 21% game. This thing was trading sub $8 this morning, and now it's trading at $9.50. Imagine if we're talking about this monster imagine if this goes all the way up to 10 today. I mean, at this rate it will. At this rate it will. Jesus. What a freaking push. What a freaking push. Ugh. Someone just started selling the Mag 7 at 10.08. SPY also kind of got clocked at 10.03, then popped up a little bit, and we're now kind of giving it back. The momentum is faltering a little bit in the Mag 7 over the past couple minutes. Obviously, we're talking about a very short time frame, but that 3 minutes in the Mag 7, it was perfectly aligned with the SPY taking a bit of a hit. Not making me feel the best here. Not making me feel the best. Rum's still going, though. Jesus, this thing is a monster today. 22.7%. 23%. Imagine the founders and like the board and whatnot of this company, where in one day, like they probably have a lot of their financial net worth tied up in this. Imagine just being worth 23% more one day when you're already talking about millions and millions of dollars. That is insanity. You're like, yeah, I'm worth an extra 30 mil this morning. Cut your loss, Matt. Brian, I have a sneaky suspicion that I could trade far better than you. I'll follow it. I have the system. Surprisingly, you're not going to be a good trader by following random comments on the internet. Surprisingly, that is not the way to do it. Not much alpha there. Dude, we are getting, like, Vol's picking up a little bit. Like, I'm watching and I'm seeing more and more trades hit here. What is going on? Mag 7 potentially bottoming here at 10.11. SPY still, this is the one that's kind of messing it up. Tesla's just pushing 305. Like I said, that's a key open interest level. If this can push and successfully hold above 305, we really are talking about 330 as the next open interest level. Remember before when I told you my worry was that we're going to get smacked at 90 again? Not only is it the intraday high, but more important than that, it is the top of the transition zone according to the options market. Well, we did get rejected there. So the bet of that breakout and continuation as of now, not looking the best, team. And in fact, we just took out this recent low at 10.05. Not feeling the best. Brian says, cut it, Matt. Brian, shut the fuck up. And you don't know the next bar. I don't need some dude who is most likely a net losing trader telling me to cut a random position. No one knows the next bar. The next bar could be a giant green bar. The next bar could be a giant red bar. It's as simple as this. Is your profit target hit or is your risk hit? If the answer is no to both of those, then you're in the play. This idea of like, oh, I'm just looking at it and I have a vibe. No, dude, it's like inherently it's really simple. Is your profit target hit? Yes or no? Is your risk hit? Yes or no? If the answer is no to both of those, you stay in the play. That's it. You don't know the next bar. Once again, it could be a nothing bar. It could be a giant green bar. It could be a giant red bar. It could be anything in between. No one knows the next bar. So boil it down. Make it simple for yourself. absurdly simple. If your risk and your profit have not been hit, you have to just kind of sit there in patience. Like that's all you have to do. This idea of like, oh, well, it's not looking good. What the fuck does that mean? It's not looking good. Like people are just literally looking at historic price action, and that tells them like what the next piece of action is going to be. I just don't get it. And this is why time and time again you see retail traders failing, is because they let their emotions go. Folks, this play might hit, it might not. I don't know. It's the system as a whole. That's what you care about. You should never be so levered or like so extreme that like one individual trade matters to you, because if one individual trade matters to you, that most likely means you bet too much of your account. There's actually high likelihood that that's exactly what it means. So if you're feeling like the emotion on one individual trade, obviously, especially if it's going wrong, that's just a telltale sign that you like bet far too much. That's probably the best indicator that you actually bet far too much. So I think one of the easiest ways to think about this whole thing is, if you can keep your emotional state calm and realistic, you just stick to your trade. Like you stick to your system, and you don't have to care that much about one individual trade. Of course, there's always that voice in the back of your head that you want every individual trade to win, but this is the game of trading. Anyone who tells you that they're winning every single time, they're so absurdly full of shit that they have no idea what they're talking about. Like anyone who's like, yeah, I win 99, 100%. It's like, shut the fuck up. Real traders, you win 50% of the time, plus or minus 10%. And so 60 to 40 roughly for most people. That's going to capture most popular trading systems, whether it's mean reversion or trend following. For example, with mean reversion, you're going to be right more often, but your winning size is going to be smaller. With trend following, you're going to be right less often, but when you win, you're going to be like winning at a bigger size. So it kind of depends on your system and how you're approaching the market. But generically, you're between a 40 and a 60% hit rate. So all you have to do is, okay, you have a plan, you stick to your plan, and you just do it time and time again. And I would actually argue more important than the plan is actually your bet sizing. So this idea of people just saying like, well, get in, get out. No, you don't. If you were that good, you would be trading a massive account. You'd be absurdly wealthy, and you wouldn't be wasting any of your time telling other people how to trade. I win 100% of the time, 60% of the time. That's one way to do it. That is one way to do it. I predict the next bar will be green or red. Well, as soon as you make a prediction like that, Paul, that's almost a perfect sign that the next bar is going to be nothing. We're going to close right where we open. Oh, this trend down. We're coming up to VWAP. Oh, this is the tricky thing, because my risk is like right at VWAP, and the chance of a VWAP test. Ooh, so the SPY's getting hit hard, but yet the Mag 7's holding. I don't like that. That's a clear mismatch. Mag 7 ripped till about 10.08. Granted, it did give a little bit back, but it's holding somewhat decently. While on the flip side, the SPY is telling a completely different story. A completely different story here. And we're right at VWAP. VWAP on the NQ is 210. We're currently trading at 227, 226. Who doesn't want to listen to me? Brian, come on. We both know you are not a net profitable trader. Literally anyone who, like, you could go poll a random person in this world and you could ask them, like, what's the next bar going to be? Whether a 1 minute, a 5 minute, and a daily, they're going to be right half the time. So this idea of you made one singular prediction correct, that does not mean that you are skillful. It doesn't mean what you're doing. And I would bet my life savings that you are not a profitable trader. This idea of trying to extrapolate someone's skill as a trader based on the success or failure of one trade, it's an idiotic game. What matters is obviously the long term. It's how many, it's show me the data set over 100 trades, over 200 trades, over 500 trades. This idea of like, oh, no, one trade, it's just not how it works. Is there news or something being announced right there? Vol A good amount of volume just hit the market on that drop right there. Rum's still going. Tesla's still holding as well. Let me see. I'm not seeing any news right now. Are any of you guys seeing any news? Or are we like in that awkward delay period in between? Are we in the awkward? I'm not seeing any news right now. Obviously, if you are, feel free to shout it out. I saw, oh wait, what is this? The Swiss president. The strength of the Swiss franc is a reoccurring topic of discussion with the U.S. Switzerland keeps explaining mandate of SMB in price stability. So the Swiss president, Keller Suter, is talking. Pause on tariffs not to be lifted during negotiations. That's from the Swiss president. So wait, is the market really reacting to... That's what's driving the market right now? That feels like a bit of a reach. Feels like a bit of a reach. Rumble doesn't care. Rum's almost at $10. That's crazy. 982, 84. What do we have going on? Is this just, are they just sweeping the recent low to like hit people's stops and then they pop it back? The SPY flow is legit bad. Like we had a little bit of pop this morning, then we vomited sideways, and then starting here at 1010, it really started to vomit. The Mag 7's been telling a different story. It was actually pretty bullish up until 1008, and then at 1020, it took a bit of a hit. But overall, it's still like clearly in positive gamma territory. In terms of technicals, we were above VWAP all morning, and we just got below VWAP, and that's at 20,210 roughly, and we're trading at 200. So I wonder if this is like, I mean, this is either, it's one of two things. This is the legit start of bearishness, and we are about to puke to yesterday's closing value, and then we could maybe re-identify if there is support there. Maybe yes, maybe no. It could be the start of a legit puke. I'd be watching that, and then if it overshoots it, then we're talking about the bottom of the transition zone, with the most important thing being, please do not forget, we are overall on a 0DT perspective in a transition zone, which is best defined as like choppy whipsaw type of action until either the bulls take control above it or the bears take control below it. So that could be one play right here, basically targeting 5664. Once again, yesterday's closing value. The SPY options flow is currently suggesting that that might be realistic, while the Mag 7 options flow is actually saying, well, hang on, we might just bounce off of seemingly a random level here, but it's an overshoot of VWAP, and I wonder if it's just going to be coming right back up. We overshot VWAP. Not seemingly. Is there a big tech play that's getting hit? MSTR is turning. Apple, no. Microsoft, no. Broadcom's been trending down. Meta's getting hit, but it's not to such a degree that it would be properly explaining this. Coin, Amazon. I mean, I see the overall market kind of getting smoked right here, but I'm a bit confused because it, like, I'm not seeing a big tech name, or some people were saying Google. Google's getting hit, but like size-wise, it's not that much. It's down 0.6%. It's down 0.6%. Palantir is not big enough. Palantir, based on market cap, isn't big enough to do it, and Palantir is not even moving down. That's why you kind of go through the more weighted ones. Like you have to look at your Apple, your Meta, Microsoft. You kind of have to look at the Mag 7 names. Palantir, what is its market cap? Its market cap is What is it? 278 billion. It's too small to have like that sizable of an impact on the market. Nvidia could definitely have influence. Nvidia getting clocked at 1019, and it sped up pretty rapidly. So it might be weakness in the semiconductors. Yeah, semiconductors. SMH is the ETF for the semiconductor world. Right around 1018, 1019, that one started to take a hit. AMD, yeah, took a bit of a hit there. Micron took a bit of a hit there. Intel, what about Broadcom? AVGO, not as much. So semiconductors were bleeding a bit, seemingly around 1018, 1019. I'm trying to piece together what's going on here. How long ago was that? It is 10:25, so it's only not even 10 minutes. The only thing I see going on from like being reported by the news right now is this thing from the Swiss president, but I'm not hearing any talk about like tech or semiconductors. China Commerce Minister, China firmly opposes U.S. abuse of reciprocal tariffs. China Commerce Ministry statement. Decision on the U.S. talks based on full assessment. I mean, this might just be pure trading, like just pure unadulterated trading. We hit the closing value. All right, I just closed out. Obviously my risk was at that closing value. I remember I was trading NQ, so closed it right there. I am very surprised. Like, I seemingly cannot find news that would relate to this, but somewhere here at 10:10, and then it accelerated at 10:19. You can see calls being. Oh, hang on, it just jumped. Yeah, that got like really hit there at 10:10. Like really hit there at 10:10. 10:10, 10:12. Calls being sold. Puts were being purchased this entire time. You could see this like little waterfall early today. Then they were flat. Then there was another waterfall. Then they were flat. So they were flat from 9:52 up until about 10:10. So 20 minutes there. And then puts started to just be purchased. And it was specifically, this is being run by 0DTEs. There's not much of a delta difference between the longer duration puts and the longer duration calls. But you could see calls being sold, puts being purchased. And it's just, you're removing that positive delta. There was a little bit of life here when some call purchasing came in at 9:54. The calls hit a new high, and then it just, 10:14, just puked. Just absolutely puked. Wow. How are we looking in the Mag 7 with that? Okay, so Mag 7 is now also completely reverted. What is going on? Because right here, 10:08, and then look at trade started to hit at 10:19 and just completely puked. Completely puked. The behavior of the market, like that was like clearly an inflex point. Strength. We paused, and then somewhere between 10:10 and 10:20, like you look at, you could see calls were getting sold earlier, calls really getting sold, and puts were getting purchased. We just ran it from coast to coast. Look at that. Just so incredibly dramatic. We're almost literally a full coast to coast move from here. The top of the transition zone, we're almost damn near at the bottom of the transition zone. Wow. Like this is a 1 minute chart. And from 10:09 to now, I'm seeing 3 green bars. That's it. Every minute was just dropping. And we're seeing a similar thing in the options market as well. Holy shit. Topside liquidity grab by market makers looks like that's not a sentence. You realize that, right? Topside liquidity grab by market makers. You're literally just stringing together words that make no sense. You realize market makers are there to provide liquidity, as in they are not trading unless someone wants to trade with them. They're not going to go out and do a topside liquidity grab. It's seemingly a lot of confusion of what market makers do. Market makers are there to provide liquidity. Provide liquidity. As in, you're saying a topside liquidity grab, that would actually almost, it sounds like you're trying to say people sold into them. Like you're literally you just heard various words of the market and put it together. Market makers are exactly what the name suggests. They provide liquidity. They provide a market. So if people want to buy a lot, they sell a lot. If people want to sell a lot, they buy a lot. They are not going out there and like traders come to them. That's like literally what a market maker is. And then yet we hear this. And I hear it a lot of like random ass shit, especially in the ICT community. They're like topside liquidity grab. Like, what the fuck does that mean? It doesn't mean anything. What is... That just sounds like a really fancy way to say people are trading. Like, yeah, okay, cool. People trade. Is the Mag 7 curving up? Barely. Looks like, as of now, looks like a bit of a dead cat bounce. But Tesla is still holding like a monster. Tesla also got hit a little bit in that pullback of the overall market, but by not at all. Dark pool call manipulation reversals. Nobody knows what it means. It means 4-year non-compete if you work for Kenny in Florida. Yo, Chris, I saw that too. There was a Wall Street Journal article that Ken Griffin is getting the state of Florida to basically agree to 4 years of non-competes. 4 years. Imagine working for a company, and it's of course the higher paid people, that when you leave, you cannot work in the industry for 4 fucking years. It's insane. Absolutely insane. And it is very real. Very, very, very real. 4 years. And obviously, there's no surprise that Ken Griffin of Citadel, who's getting this to be pulled off, was a big supporter of DeSantis. Big supporter of DeSantis. All right. What am I looking to do? What am I looking to do? Dark pool, short squeeze, liquidity, open interest, ladder attack. It's one of those. It definitely feels like one of those. I can just not imagine. Imagine, like, you're like, nope. 4 years. They do pay you, though. It's a gardening period is what it's referred to as. Well, how far did we get? We almost got to the bottom. Maybe a potential recovery above the green to red move. We're now in the red territory on the day, but what a puke. It just, someone had to get out of a position, and they did it aggressively. Look at how quickly that vomited. We're showing a little bit of basing now, but that just kept going and going and going. Jesus. Rum didn't care. Tesla didn't care. Those are the ones that are still holding up. Rum's up 23% and Tesla's up 6.7%, while everything else just like vomited red. That is just crazy. All right, well, it's about 10:30, so let's do some Payday Friday giveaway stuff. You know, this is a good time to run it, to just pause and wait to see how this stuff is actually going to play out. Dashboard. All right, so we're going to have to pick a person off of YouTube, a person off of Rumble, and then also a person off, 3 people off of Local. So we'll do this first, random number. Next, anyone can win. It's going to be a number from 1 to 150. All right, guess away. Guess away. It's live. It is live. It is live. It's a number between 1 and 150. It is 1 and 150. Too high, too high, too low. Someone was close. I saw a close one. Who is it gonna be? Who's it gonna be? Who's it gonna be? Ooh, I'm seeing a lot of closes, but no cigars. Who's it gonna be? I can't even see the number right now, so I mean, it's between 1 and 150, and there's already 400 guesses. So it's safe to say that you guys are kind of just bad at this at a certain point. At a certain point, you just have to admit that you're kind of bad at it. Hey, someone got it. Nathan Cedarlund? Nathan. Make sure you stay in chat because we might need your information if you win the race. So do not leave chat. If we can't track you down, we just got to roll it into next week's victory. But Nathan, do not leave chat. If this is you, stay in chat so we can get your info. Random number generator. We're going to go between 10 and 25. Generate 16. 16. All right. Let me clean this up a little bit. All right. First comment I'm seeing is Jefferson said it best. So we're going to go 16 comments past that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Who's the next one? Roid Rage. Well, hopefully it's Marble Rage after this one. Roid Rage was the 16th comment. Perfect. And then we have to pick our 3 people off of locals. There's 115 comments. 1 to 115. All right. Oh, 115. Okay. 115. 98. And then also 43. All right, so we have 43, 98, and 115. All right, perfect. So the first one we're going to do is 43. So each one has 25 people, so that's 25. You could count them up if you want, but there are 25. And then the bottom of this page would be 50, if it ever loads. Okay, so 50. 49, 48, 47, 46, 45, 44, 43. John. All right. So that's page 2. So that was 50. Page 3 is 75, which would mean by the time we get to page 4, we are going to be talking about 100. Come on, load. Can market makers fill limit buy orders to the downside if they wanted, or can they take only provide liquidity to market orders? I'm going to save that for a second. I don't quite get what you're asking, but we'll come back to it. Okay, next page. The bottom of this page is going to be 100. If it loads, and then we're going to find out who our second competitor from locals in, which would also simultaneously be our fourth competitor. So 100, 99, 98. D Hodge. All right, and then that's 100. So then we have 101, 102, 103, 104, 105, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 14. Tyler, you were the last one? Yeah, it was 115, right? Was that the final random number generator? It was 115. He's the last one. Tyler GR. Tyler or Graves. All right, Tyler Graves, whatever it is. We have our competitors. We have this. Whoa. Oh, by the way, quick market update, kind of an important one. We are breaking below we are officially in the bearish side. So this was already put in the Discord, but for you guys in here, right here, this breakdown of 50, target 1 would be 35, then 20, and then 600. So if you're looking for some key, obviously 35 is the low from yesterday, so that's a key technical level. And then from there, the key open interest levels are 620. There's actually quite a bit of action at 620. And then below that, key technical level, key psychological level at 5,600. Just be careful, similar to earlier today, of how it was a fake out breakout. Just be careful of it being a fake out breakdown, as in like we just quickly come back up. And if you are looking, if that were to occur and you want it to play back to the upside, then the next level from there would obviously be 64, and then that would be followed by 75. So if you needed some zones within the transition zone to play it, that's how I would personally look at it. All right, cool. So we have that. Why is the game not up? We have our competitors. It's time to race. we have our competitors. Oh, here it is. There it is. There it is. There it is. Is it loading? What's going on here? All right. I think you guys should be able to see this. Get started. Wait, what? No, cancel. No, just let us race. All right. Race. We're going to do a random track. Space chase. All right. We have 5. Let's see what we can do today. All right. Representing the red land of YouTube, we have Nathan. Representing the green land of Rumble, Roid Rage. And then representing locals, we have John. We have D Hodge. And then we also have the final one, Tyler, also known as Graves. All right, so we have those players. Finish, we have that. Names, good. We have bots. Let's get ready. 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 All right, do we have our 5 competitors? Ladies and gentlemen and everything in between, what you are about to witness is one of those events where you really just don't want to blink because you might miss some of the action. Before you today, you have 5 of the fastest marble racers in on the land, where not only are they going for $150 of cold, hard cash, but they are in fact going for eternal bragging rights. Folks, winning one of these races, it's not one of those things that just makes you feel good for the rest of the day. It is LinkedIn worthy. It is resume worthy. It is something you run home and tell your wife about. It's one of those things where you could quit your job and tell your boss to kick rocks. This is how important and pivotal these races are. So please understand that while they might just seem like races, they might seem like marble races, they are in fact taking their lives in their hand. They really are. Unfortunately, we've had a lot of these, and not everyone who starts the race ends up finishing the race. So please be mindful and supportive of the fact that every single time these racers hit the track, they are in fact taking their lives like into their hand, like they're putting them on the line. So this is by no means something you do just all willy-nilly. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, please stand. Racers, please start your engines because we are going in 3, 2, 1. All right, everyone getting a pretty good start today. Who's going to be the first one to get the drop? Looks like we are. Who's going to do it? Everyone. Ooh, we're getting it. We're all circling. Who's making the first move? Looks like Nathan. Nathan and John. All racers taking the left path. Interesting. We are in a space circuit. We haven't done one of these in a hot minute. Gravity turned. Gravity. D Hodge dead. That can't be good. D Hodge, you had a good race, just not enough to actually live. We're gonna have to upgrade our insurance after this. Roid Rage is apparently stuck all the way back there, so he's probably raging. Tyler taking the bottom path. You can see him in the top right of the screen. John and Nathan making a move for it. What? All right, they survived that. Currently, John is leading. Followed directly by Nathan, but Tyler is on his own path. Wait, is Tyler skipping? How did Tyler find this path? I don't know who's technically in the lead. Looks like John and Nathan are just barely edging out Tyler. John, Nathan, then followed by Tyler. Roid Rage is stuck, and unfortunately, D Hodge is dead. Can John hold on to this? Nathan running into a little bit of an obstacle. Tyler smartly dodging all of them. And then Tyler making the first drop. So he was in third for most of this. Tyler missing the speed up. So did John, though. Will he hold? Yes, he did. Coming out of third to win. Tyler victorious. The final entry. Nathan fighting to the end, getting in third. And then same with Roid Rage, putting up a valiant effort. But Tyler winning the race, and hey, we round up here. We almost got everyone to survive. Unfortunately, not everyone. It's kind of silly to hold us to that particular level of like, we can't assume everyone's going to live in all of these races. But congratulations to Tyler. Folks, I don't know who's betting on Tyler, but please join me in a quick round of applause for a very, very valiant effort from all 5 racers. But Tyler bringing the bag home. And on top of that, also winning an Apex account. Same thing to you and John and D Hodge. All of you guys winning an Apex account. Just a reminder, if you want to trade on Apex, 80% off with that code Goonie. So check that out. Pinned to the top of chat in the description of the video. But Tyler doing what he does best. Tyler, congrats. Please be on the lookout. I'm going to be reaching out to you today to get your information, to send you the money, and obviously to send you the Apex account. And the same thing goes for John and D Hodge. Be on the lookout for either a DM or an email from me, so I can give you all that information. So that will be happening at some point today when I get my life together. Market trying to show a little bit of a recovery. Remember when I said the way we had a fake out breakout, the way we got rejected? Well, this is another key level, so don't be so surprised we're bouncing here. That's exactly why we label these key levels. Like I said, if I played this reversal, my first target would be 5664. My second target would be 5675. This was a very dramatic sell-off, kind of getting going at 1010, 1012, something like that. And it was... it seems to have stopped. Yeah. Okay. So the selling faucet started at 1010, stopped at 1038, and now we're seeing a bit of a recovery to equilibrium. And you could even see it here at on the Mag 7, starting at 1018, getting dumped all the way till 1040, and now we're getting a little bit of a reprieve. Would love for Tesla to hold 300. I liked it far better above that 305 level, not just because it was a higher price, but it's a key options interest level. So if it can get above and hold above that, real shot of shooting in on a swing trade perspective. I'm not talking about intraday, but on a swing trade perspective, real shot of it going all the way up to 330. Then if it can get above and hold above 305, key open interest level. And then obviously 300 is a key psychological level. So just 2 key things to pay attention to. Rum keeps going. It did tag $10. It's currently up 28% on the day. Massive positive reaction to the earnings that were last night after the market closed. But basically, I'm just waiting to see if we can actually hold this and push back up to 5664. 5664. That is yesterday's closing value. We went from green to red, and now can we actually go back green, or is it going to be resistance and then we peak below 5650 and then we hit 5635 followed by 5620? Those are the levels I will personally be paying attention to. Here's a final look at the flow. SPY bouncing a little bit. The Q's not really catching a bid, unfortunately. Not at all. In fact, it's starting in 5-minute broke down, 10-minute broke down, even the 30-minute broke down, 5-minute, 10-minute, 30-minute, all breaking down. So what started off as somewhat of a seemingly interesting day, right past 10 minutes past the hour, we're losing it. But it's not so far gone that we couldn't come back. But obviously it would have to be done piecewise. And the first thing is, can the price get back above and hold above the closing value from yesterday? And then from there, how much of this aggressive selling can it claw back throughout the session? So play it level by level, and you don't have to overcomplicate it or do anything else in between. But folks, that's pretty much what I have for you today. I mean, we did Payday Friday. It's a Friday. So whatever you guys do today, I hope you make a shitload of money. I hope you have a great night. I hope you have a great weekend. Before I let you guys go, any questions that I could clarify, whether options on the Discord, on Apex, on Take Profit Trader, we do have a video coming out in 10 minutes on the channel. On the secondary channel, the Evergreen channel, once again coming out at 11 a.m. So in 10 minutes, be on the lookout for that. And it is a video that better describes the rules related to Apex, like the 30% rules. That's coming out once again at 11 a.m. in 10 minutes. So I want to call that out. It's going to be on Rumble and it's going to be on YouTube. It is an 11 a.m. reversal, or it's an 11 a.m. Drop. Someone was saying reversal in chat. I feel like Ron Burgundy. Happy Mother's Day. Yes, that's technically Sunday. So for all the moms that I will not be able to speak to between now and Sunday, obviously a very happy early Mother's Day to all y'all. Why didn't you listen to me? Brian's asking why I didn't listen to him. Why would I? You're not a profitable trader. You're like anyone can, literally someone with no knowledge could be right half the time. But that doesn't mean you're profitable. I listen to profitable traders. That's the way to do it. That is, explain the topside liquidity grab. Yeah, it sounds like a really complicated way to literally just say resistance. That's what it sounds like. I find that there's a lot of people, especially in the Twitter sphere, that try to complicate some of the most basic ideas of the market, and they wrap it up in a lot of complicated words to make it sound like it's more difficult than it is. But you know what's an easier way to explain this whole situation than a market maker topside liquidity grab? You could say resistance. That's another. It was not only open interest in like resistance due to like major players at 56.90, but it was also the intraday high. So yeah, you could say something that sounds cool as a market maker topside liquidity grab, and that does sound cool. I think we could all admit that sounds really, really cool. Or resistance. Like it doesn't sound as sexy. It doesn't sound as cool. I know it sounds a lot more provocative when we say the market makers, what was it? Like committed a topside liquidity grab. Yeah. And it does sound fancy. I'll give the community who says that type of stuff, hey, that is good marketing. It sounds really interesting. Or you could just say resistance, which is also simultaneously true and easier to understand, but it just doesn't sound as cool. It just does not sound as cool. It feels so nice saying it outside. Yeah, market maker topside liquidity grab. It does. It does sound cool. AMC to the moon. Yeah, that's never gonna fucking happen. It's just a horribly run company, unfortunately. And like, I don't say that happy because I like movies. I like movie theaters. I enjoy going to it. Why do you assume that everyone in here is unprofitable trader or a scummy retail trader? You likely have a wide range of traders in here. Some bad, some very successful. Be careful with that. I don't know what a scummy retail trader is, but I mean, I'm going to be right 95% of the time because 95% of active traders are unprofitable. And then when I look at random comments, you can kind of get an understanding of how certain people via their comments approach the market. So it makes me more than 95% confident that someone like Brian is just wrong and is not a profitable trader. Matt, do you want to sit by the pool this weekend and listen to ICT with a group of sweaty dudes? Yeah, dude, that's what I'm looking. I hope I can get invited to that. Just a bunch of like 22-year-old dudes just ripping multi-hour streams, like historic streams of like the most gobbledygook of like bullshit, like just actual random it's half the talks aren't even based on the market. It's just like it's almost like an ADHD brain. Like it just goes off on these rants that like relates nothing to the original topic, and then there's like little mini sermons within it. It becomes awkwardly religious, and then there's I guess delusions of grandeur of I created the algorithm that runs the market. Like it just it's so much. It's so much. It sounds pretty gay to me to side liquidity grab. American legend, I can't disagree. Does ETH still got potential? I don't think so. The more I've learned about crypto, I've realized that the appropriate thing for me is to literally just keep it simple and buy Bitcoin and then just to invest in it and then never think about anything else. I am not part of the 95%. Brian, I can guarantee you are part of the 95%. You are not so special to be different than a high majority of retail traders. Trust me, you're not. But anyway, with crypto, for quite a while, I tried to learn more about the different chains and networks, and then like just living through all the craziness, it really does just seem far, far more simple to dollar cost average into Bitcoin and move on with my life. Like I could spend hundreds of hours of my own personal time researching and looking into this and looking into that and trying to do so much to maybe edge out a couple more percent. Or I can make my life comically simple, and literally just buy Bitcoin, dollar cost average into it on a monthly, weekly, daily basis, and still most likely outperform like all these other crypto traders. So in terms of like time dedication versus like the reward, like they're like, obviously at a certain point your time is worth something. I have enough else going on in my life that I don't need to like dive like so much into, I suppose, the crypto sphere, where it seems pretty simple to just buy Bitcoin and then move on with my life. You can make your life suck and buy ETH. It seems like the ETH support group is just like truly dying. It feels like if you're arguing of like, yo, I want technology built on top of crypto, it seems like the user base is quite a bit larger now on Solana, and I see more optimism in that world. It's been years since I've seen people actually be optimistic about like ETH. Like I'm just not seeing it. It's either shit meme coins, or it's Bitcoin, or it's something like Solana. So it's either, and if, hey, I guess if you pick those meme coins or whatever, like obviously I wish you the best of luck. But they are seemingly, there's a lot more positive rhetoric in that either meme coins, Solana, which I guess a lot of the meme coins are built on Solana, so that's the same argument in a nutshell, or Bitcoin. It's all about Farcoin. See, even that. I think there's a lot more people optimistic out there of Farcoin than they are of Ethereum. Vitalik lit ETH down a bit. I wouldn't say a bit. I would say a lot. I would say he is a large part of the reason of why it like has seemingly lost its entire support base. Cardano, ADA never picked up. I don't see really, like, of course all of these have communities, but something like Cardano or ADA specifically, no one talks about it. Like on a percentage basis, no one seemingly gives a shit about it. And I think a lot of the stuff in crypto, you want a large support base, and it just doesn't have it. It just seemingly doesn't have it. Should I keep holding my Hawk coin? Your Hawk Tua? Jesus, what a debacle. What a debacle that was. All right, folks, pretty much that's what I have for you. Like I said, I hope you crush it for the rest of the day. I hope you make a lot of money. I hope you have a great weekend. We'll be posting an update video on Sunday. John, D. Hodge, and Tyler, be on the lookout for me, because I'm going to email you guys or DM you a coupon code for Apex for any account size for free. Tyler, I will also be needing your information to send you that cold, hard cash. So I appreciate you guys all trying to compete today. Obviously, special shout out to the 5 racers, and a very special shout out to Tyler for winning the race. Be careful about the ranges today. As of now, we are just ping-ponging in the transition zone between transition high, transition low. We're really not spending any reasonable amount of time in the bullish or in the bearish territory, which is exactly why we map those levels out. I wouldn't be surprised this weekend, or really going into this weekend, this afternoon, if there's some craziness, because people are going to be wanting to jockey for position for this weekend. So if you're in a position today, definitely keep an eye out on what the hell happens this afternoon. That's what I have for you. Shout out to Apex. Use that code Goonie. Same thing on Take Profit. Same thing for you to get into the Discord if you so choose. Code Goonie will either give you a free month, or it'll give you the best discount. But generally, if you see anything in the description of my videos, code Goonie is going to be how you get like a specialty offer. That's what I have for you. Best of luck. I love you all. Peace.